So we're back over here on Facebook land with a new game. It's called Underrated and Overrated. So I've got Lance Owens as our hapless guest, and Eric's going to call out.
What's hapless?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're just here for the ride.
Okay.
You're not too sure what's going to happen.
Yeah, okay.
You're just going to make sure
hapless,
that you are just entertaining and fun, and that you're informative as possible.
Okay.
So the game is that Eric's going to call out something that has to do with North Kona, with real estate and housing.
So we're limited. We're talking about North Kona.
North Kona. West Hawaii for the most part. And he's going to he's going to throw some different things out that Lance and I are going to decide on our own if it's underrated or overrated. And then we're going to defend our position. Okay?
All right.
So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready, man.
Okay.
You got me thinking. You probably saw me. I think, did I lose him? No, you had me thinking. All right.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, the first one is oceanfront properties. So you say it.
Okay, ready? First one is oceanfront properties. Overrated. Yeah, overrated. Okay, so why do you think that they're overrated?
The amount of upkeep and maintenance for an oceanfront house, number one.
Yep.
What's your number one?
I would say that the sound.
Sound? Like, how far away are we from the ocean?
We are almost a mile away from the ocean, and we can still hear it.
We can hear the surf when the surf's
personally, I would not like the constant sound of the ocean. And
I
don't think
couldn't
people
sleep
think about
comfortably if it was a light lull, which it usually is here.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
But when it's not, it's like I've had clients come up and say, "I couldn't sleep in that condo. I'm glad I rented oceanfront before I bought."
Yeah, that's when we first came here. We stayed at the Ocean Bali Kai. I mean the Kona Bali Kai. And I thought, oh, how romantic! We'll have oceanfront condo, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel like I'm having a tsunami dream every night.
Yeah.
But also the maintenance experience too.
Maintenance is
Lots of salt water on those properties.
everything. And it's funny because I've seen if this was a window or a ceiling fan here, the entire side of the ocean is rusted, and the other side is not. And your appliances and things last way shorter.
Yeah. Computer parts and everything else. Eric and I used to live in Keoho Resort, and we went through 2 rounds of appliances while we were living down there. So that's what we're thinking.
Live a block away where you can see the ocean really good.
Yeah, in fact, we like it because we're up in the view of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're looking right at the ocean, it just is like all you see is blue.
Let me say one more word. Tsunami.
Oh, yeah? No, let me give you another word. Ocean rising. Okay, what's the next one?
Palisades area.
Okay, so the next one is Palisades, which is a neighborhood above the airport.
This is a tough one.
Okay.
Overrated, underrated.
Okay, why do you think it's underrated?
Well, because there's some pluses to it.
Okay.
People drive up there, they don't see what they're typically used to in the mainland, and I'm going to use the word cookie cutter homes. These sidewalks, when we say cookie cutter, we don't mean everything. We mean like a street with sidewalks, underground utilities, and street lights and things like that.
The stuff you would normally take for granted in a normal neighborhood.
Yeah. So it is...
not like that.
It's not like that up there. So you have to, just get used to that and do it because it's typically up at a nice elevation. But again, if you're out doing, you want nice level streets to walk on in the evenings, with sunset, you're not going to have that. But you're going to be healthier at the end of it. By the
time you walk up.
Of the street. So go ahead, yours.
Okay. So when I say overrated, is that some people will move to that part of town. They get a little bit more house for a little less money, right? But the thing is that I also hear people say, oh, we love living in Palisades because we are closer to Kua Bay. And we're not sitting in the traffic to get into Kona, right? But you're also on... and again, for me personally, the view of the view of the airport area is dry. See that? It's like brown. And also there's just a lot of different people living in Palisades where it's a little bit more crowded, you could say. There's a lot of multifamily generational homes and stuff. So there's just a lot of people living in there. And you're coming down that one street, Kaminani, which is very steep. Right? Where if you're down, let's say closer to Kona, you're not at such a steep elevation. It's spread out a little bit more. And I think I love our view, which has more foliage. It's not as dry and you get a better view. Yeah. So that's my opinion.
Yeah. It's funny because when in my previous life, I was service manager at many different automotive and motorcycle shops. And we had the Volkswagen guy fly in one time, and he asked we had people that kept going through breaks, and he said, where do you live? Do you live in a hill area? Do you do this, that? And they're like, no, it's not bad at all. And he said, can I just follow you on your route home and back? And it's because we had replaced brakes on this car 2 or 3 times. And so where did they go? Up to the top of Palisades.
Yeah, and people don't realize it goes from like almost ocean level to 2,500?
1,500 feet.
That's it, 15?
I'm at 1,800 above there.
Okay, so 1,500 feet.
So 1,500 foot on a straight. There's no turns, there's no nothing.
Yeah, straight up the hill.
Straight up the hill, and they don't realize they're riding their brakes all the way down.
Ah.
And so that was the last set of brakes that we bought those people. And we educated them on using your transmission. It was funny because his thing
Downshift.
was, what's under warranty, your brakes or your transmission? And it's like, your brakes are not. They're wear and tear items. Because this car only had 5,000 miles the first time and 10,000 the second time, we paid for them the first couple of times.
Oh, there you go.
By the third time, like, downshift, your transmission is under warranty.
Yeah.
And use it to brake yourself.
Yes, and then literally it is very steep. So,
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next one?
Right.
Condos.
Okay, condos. I would say.
This isn't can't we get something that comes in the middle of that? Like, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do underrated.
I'm gonna do overrated,
Okay.
not just to argue with you.
Okay. I'm gonna say underrated in the sense a lot of people moving to Kona in my realm are retirees, and I think that single family home maintenance is hard. I think it's unexpected. I think that that people sometimes will get into homes that they don't realize the amount of upkeep for landscaping. I just think that sometimes condos with the HOA paying for everything for you, roof, maintenance, trash, security, you can pick up and go on vacation and your house is going to be taken care of. Where sometimes people move here because they want to still travel, and you cannot just leave a single family home alone sometimes here without it growing or worried about it. So I think that in terms of, if you come here because you want to enjoy all the Kona has to offer, but not be straddled with the home ownership aspect of it, it could be a good opportunity.
Yes, and I will agree with you 100% on that. And so my decision was based on the fact that with the doubling of the maintenance fees and stuff like this, it used to be a win-win situation to be in a condo. Yeah. So if I was doing this paddle a year ago, I would have been on your side. Yeah. Today, with the HOA fees going from $400 to $800, or some of them from $1,200 to $1,700, depending on where you're at. You know, Oceanfront. We just talked about Oceanfront maintenance, things like that. So it's at a point where I don't know that the value's all the way there, but there is still, no matter what it is, you're still able to pick up and walk away from it.
Yep.
And what did we talk about? Remember a few months ago we talked about how do you not? And I just had somebody say, how do I not get island fever?
You travel. You get off the island every.
You get off the island for a month every year, or
Yep.
or a couple of weeks every 3 or 4 months, especially if you're retired here,
Yep.
whatever. Get off, get over it, come home. You'll kiss the tarmac when you land, and you'll be so glad to be home. But if you don't, if you go back once a year for a week, you're going to get island fever.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I'll tell you though. I have a friend who's building a home right now. Okay, $150,000 to put a pool in. Right, and then people with single family homes with pools, the maintenance on that is like $250 a month. Yeah. Right, and then if you did have to put a new roof on your house, that's $20,000. Yeah. So, with the rising HOA fees, it still costs money for all the other things too on a single family home. Yeah.
So everybody's price went up.
Right. It's an expensive place to live, you guys. That's all there is to it. So
we're gonna shake hands on this.
Okay, we're gonna do that way. Okay.
We're gonna give each other. Well, we both got good points.
Okay.
Okay, Waikoloa Village. Say it again.
Okay, ready? Oh, it's Waikoloa Village. Okay, you have overrated. Okay,
you know what? I saw red. I meant underrated. I did. No, I don't know why. I should have looked. Okay. I know what it says on the back.
Okay. So we both think it's underrated then.
I think so. I think it's
underrated. What's your story about Waikoloa Village?
Waikoloa Village is get your pluses and minuses. So it's I think it's one of the most affordable places in West Hawaii, and it is located in a dry area that doesn't see a lot of fog, and you're close to some 5-star beaches, and That's it.
Okay. One of my underrateds is the fact that when I was living in Waikoloa Village, what I really didn't realize I miss was the fact that you can go out and be alone. Because you can run out and you see the most beautiful stars because it's wide open spaces. It's a little village, you guys, in the middle of a huge lava field, 6 miles away from the best resorts on the island, and you can get out into like the prairie land and be absolutely alone for acres and acres and acres. And I used to ride my bike up the hill, and you can just look out over pasture land. If you love like being out in the middle of nowhere, like a Montana, Wyoming experience or Texas, that's a great place to go because you're just away from like all the stuff.
Just a few minutes. You're
yeah, like if you look over right now, all of Kona is basically, it's all developed.
Yeah.
If you want to go out and sing as loud as you want, you have to really go and find it. I'm trying to do this, you guys. So I kind of missed that part of it.
I don't live next door to it.
And also because we get the clouds at night that come over Holualoa, they don't.
Right.
So they get those clear skies, and you can see stars all day long.
All the comments
and also they have a really inexpensive, they have an inexpensive golf course right in the middle of town that everyone kind of pays into. And also, again, I used to go down and run down. There's a trail that goes to like Hapuna and Beach 69 and Mauna Kea, and you're just close to all the good stuff down there too.
So I do have to say one thing, because any of my clients are saying, or some I've talked to before, are saying, "Oh, you're two-faced." You used to talk to me a difference about that area. So those are the reasons that it really is a good.
Yeah, but on the other side,
there's the wind.
There's the wind.
That's the big thing. And if
yeah.
you're okay with wind, there's a reason there's not fog there. The wind's coming down between the two mountains, and it's a windy area.
Yeah,
so that's it. I'm not going to talk bad about Waikoloa. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
However, it is important to know Waikoloa is windy.
It is very windy.
So that is a thing. So that's another reason why the housing prices are a little less expensive in Waikoloa than they are here. And also the fact that because it takes almost 45 minutes to get to Kona. So, you're a little bit...
They are starting to kind of become a little second city, right? I mean, they're getting... that movie theater... anything ever come of that? Or they're building stuff out there. Things are coming out there.
Yeah.
And it is... you had a little Ace Hardware, I think, out there.
Yeah. They're building a hotel now. They've got different restaurants.
So it will be a second city.
Yeah. And they're eventually they're going to add 500 more homes, and they'll probably put a high school in there. Because right now, if you have kids, you're taking an hour-long bus ride to get to Kealakekea High School. So, done that. Okay. So Eric says,
living at elevation.
Living at elevation. Yeah, I know where you're talking to. This guy's cold right now. So tell us about what the story is with elevation.
All right. So I love it because you'd never have a want for air conditioning.
That's right. You can save a whole boatload of energy costs with not having to do energy.
Building costs and energy costs and everything else. We talk about rule of thumb, every 200 feet in elevation, you drop a degree.
Right.
It changes depending on how steep it actually is and where you're at and things like that. That's a loose rule of thumb. So up at our place, it can get down into the low 60s or even the high 50s on some nights.
And he's at 1,800.
Yeah, I'm at 1,800 foot.
I'm at 700.
Yeah. So that's probably the perfect elevation. 700 to 900 foot elevation is a sweet spot to be. But again, you don't ever have air conditioning. It is I'm up high and I do get the stars. I'm up out of the city kind of thing. So I get tons of stars and things I see, but I do get the cloud cover that robs me of them some nights, a lot of nights. And
it also means you get rain.
I get rain.
So that's the reason why it's so dry in Waikoloa, because there's just don't get a lot of rain, therefore their clouds are clear.
Yeah.
But you have a really nice
interesting
area.
thing in we bought this property like a dozen years ago, but we moved in 5 years ago, and this is the second time in 5 years that it is dry up there right now. I've got a lot of lawn. We got 3 horses that run our 3 acres, and so they keep the grass mowed for me, and it's been really sweet because they got really picky to where they don't a lot of stuff they won't eat because there's plenty of other good stuff around.
Yeah.
Now they're eating almost everything because
Lord,
it's so dry and brown.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. My friend actually lives down the street from Lance, and she's kind of crying right now about she's got a 3-acre farm.
Oh.
And there's not a lot of rain going on up there right now.
Oh yeah, so they're all on catchment.
Yeah. So she has to figure out how she's gonna get that water.
No.
And that's another thing too about land that you're responsible for it. But I'd say the elevation for me personally, I think that when Eric and I were were living in Keauhou, we did not have any idea how awesome it is to have this ocean view at this level. I think people do think when they move to an island, having an ocean in front of your face is like the ultimate.
Yeah.
Getting up and having this grand view, I think is completely underrated until you walk into somebody's house and say, wow.
Yeah.
You know, because I think we were living here for over 6 months before we finally met somebody who lived in Laco Street. And we saw their view and we're like, oh, no, this is living.
Yeah.
And so we made it a point to say, you know what, when we were going to live here for the rest of our lives, we wanted to make sure that we were elevation. So.
Yeah.
But we've talked about elevation in terms of also how it just saves you a lot of money in terms of energy costs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Building a house.
Building a house. You have to be an opinion.
I have to have an opinion. It is.
Lance
I'm gonna go with underrated.
Okay, so Lance actually built his own home.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell
We
him
built two. Well, we built our first one 30 years ago, and then we built our second one.
So at least you had some
5 years ago.
experience on this.
So I had some experience with the second one, and it is. We were really excited on the second one. You know, we got a package home plan,
Okay.
and it's it's a nice plan. I don't want you to think it's like a.
It's not like a box. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
pretty nice.
and so it is. We made some modifications, jacked it up a foot, so that the roof was higher. You felt you were in a bigger area. Pushed out a couple walls, removed a little bit here and there. But by doing that, we also created problems that we weren't aware of. And
The law of unintended consequences.
Yeah, we had unintended consequences. So there was frustration. There
And
was
money.
a point where I finally said to my wife, I said, you know what? I'm tired of arguing over these things. I'll be happy just having a new home. And I'll just...
Shut up.
You pick everything and shut up. And I am happy that we have a new home. And
So you
that was
basically
as
almost
smart
did a
as
custom built house on top of a model.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When we thought we were doing the best thing by going with something that had been built 1,000 times probably.
Yeah.
We probably maybe should have just went with a
what that
custom
was.
home.
Oh, see, yeah. So either
Yeah,
go with
and
custom
just
or go with the
did it,
model and
or-
just stick with it.
Yeah. And don't try to modify the thing to where you have unintended consequences. Because there was nobody there to tell us really that was a bad idea.
Yeah, yeah. We're
So,
telling
go
you guys now. And I say overrated just because I just can't believe how many people say my big dream, and God, you know how I'm telling you this is my opinion. My big dream is to come to Hawaii and build the dream of the dream house of, my life. And there's so many things that happen here. You get the permitting problems, you get the labor issue, you get screwed by your contractor. There's so many problems of building a house in Hawaii that I just think that sometimes, unless you know what you're doing, or if you're friends with contractors, if you've lived for a long time, you know what you're looking at. I just think that sometimes you come to this island and people say, I have a special price for you because you don't know what you're doing on this island.
And
So-
you're not here to oversee it a lot of
That's
times. You're trying to build from the mainland. So
Yep,
you
yep.
talk to people
So
like
a friend of mine is building the house, and the guy, he just retired. He's going to come over every single month from Denver, and he's going to oversee the construction of that house up here on the hill. And so, so he's on it, and he picked a reputable contractor. I think that they are going to, and they bought that piece of land 10 years ago. So they've been thinking about this forever, and I hope it goes as well as they had planned. But when other people sometimes come over with this, it's like, if I'm just going to buy some land and buy this, get this house, and then it takes 2 years to build the house, and they've got the holding costs and the headaches. I just have seen more people not get what they thought they were going to get in terms of a dream experience.
It is hard. And Kimmy and I did pick a good, reputable contractor, and our house was built in 6 months.
Wow.
So we were, and in all fairness, we had already done all of our design work, and we'd done everything on it. We'd actually pulled owner builder permits, and then realized that it was more than we could undertake. And we went back and hired a contractor and put it into that. And once the contract got put into his name, we started ordering material and doing things. And 6 months later, we had an occupancy thing.
There we go.
We were in.
There we go.
So
Yeah.
it can be good.
Yeah,
And
it
so,
can be. Yeah, yep.
But yeah, being here helped a lot.
Yeah, and also you've done it before too.
Yeah, we learned the hard way the first
Yeah, see,
time.
it's all the things.
We made it through that build.
Yeah, I mean, it's a safer marriage. Okay, what else?
Leasehold condos.
Leasehold condos. There we go. Okay, why do you say what you said? I got overrated. You got overrated. Okay, what's your story?
By the time you take, what a lot of people don't realize is you have your mortgage payment, then you have your maintenance fee payment, and then you have a lease fee payment. And so those have all gone up significantly. So it's very hard to find any of those that will pencil in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hard thing. Now, if interest rates keep going higher, you got to remember, before this madness, 6 and 7% was a fantastic deal, and it could pencil out. But in today's, with the increase in the cost of the building and the more mortgage you have to take out, by the time that you get done, you could pay the $100,000 more for a fee simple property and drop that lease fee. It'd be almost of the same thing,
right?
And have something that you can pass on to your kids,
right? Because lease fee does mean that you don't own the property. And also, I think that some people think, hey, look at it, I can get a condo for $354,000, and then they don't realize it's not really $354,000. It ends up being almost just as expensive as market rate, but then you don't own the land.
Yeah.
So so again, if you guys see something, it's too good to be true. If you see LH, it's leasehold.
Yeah,
so
that's a big thing.
Yep. Okay.
Air conditioning.
Air conditioning.
I can answer that one quick.
Overrated. Yeah.
Overrated.
Yep. Well, even though
you
you
have
don't
AC, you're at 700 feet. You got
right,
AC.
we have no AC, and I've
Overrated.
never had AC actually. Even in Kehoe Resort, they wouldn't let us put air conditioning in. But I'll tell you on the underrated aspect, if you're a menopausal woman, AC is an amazing experience, especially down at ocean level. So nobody told us when we moved into Kehoe, which is one of the hottest places in all of the Hawaiian Islands to live, that you need a little fan, and AC is kind of a good thing. But the thing is that most people come here from the mainland, and they run the fans and the air conditioning 24/7. We live next to a rental house, and even when we are literally putting the blankets up next to our chins, they're running AC next door.
Yeah.
So it's like, you just don't need it all the
They
time.
just live in it, and they So we had AC on our house in Kamani Trees, and that's a very, very low elevation, a couple hundred feet, and it was very, very hot down there. But I grew up in the desert, and so it wasn't too bad to me. But there was probably from Easter to Halloween, there was probably 3 or 4 days a month that I would turn it on. So if you're going to do AC, the split AC system would be the best, and get used to. Excuse me. Hawaii has jealousy windows like crazy over all the old homes because that was the answer. You had ceiling to floor ventilation that went through the entire home, and you had it on both sides of the home. So
you get nice ventilation, makamakai.
Yeah, makamakai.
The wind comes in and up and keeps everything nice and cool. Now, if you have a house that was built sideways by some kind of California person who, like the pines sometimes.
Did you just say that out loud? California builder?
They sometimes didn't realize that the houses were built the way they were built because they didn't realize they were working with the natural flow of the air, and they built the houses sideways. Yeah, so keep an eye on that. Okay,
Holualoa.
Holualoa.
This is another one of those. I mean...
Okay, what would you say? I'm saying mine. Hurry up, pick one. Okay.
What'd you pick?
I picked Overrated. And I'm just saying that for what those poor people pay to sit in that kind of rain. So what would you say?
There's the rain factor, which I deal with where I'm at. So there's that, and then there's that windy road that you have to go up and down every single day of your life. And that's the morning, afternoon, if you're headed home, or if you forgot something, and evening. The pizza places will usually meet you at the top of the road that goes up there, and
because they won't go any further.
Yeah.
And if you get behind a school bus on that road, you are trapped and trapped and trapped.
And it's a tiny, tiny, windy road. You can't believe how many stupid accidents are up there because they shouldn't have an accident up there. But it's just,
Well, my kids, we used to live off Walla on the way up to Holualoa, and my kids would take the upper highway to school, and then they would be like, "Oh, hey, I did it in 20 minutes," and I'm like, "Oh, don't drive that fast on that road." Yeah,
because
and they're like, "I'm like, it's not a speedway," and so there are people who do take those curves very quickly, and you're coming back the other way. But also, I love the downtown of Holualoa. I think it's so cute.
It's beautiful.
It's a cute
beautiful,
little town.
Beautiful area.
But the fact is that I had a friend that used to live up there. We actually helped find the house for her to rent, and we toured the home up there before she got in there, and the level of mildew and mold that were in that house because it was constantly in that wet zone.
Wet area,
that I'm like, I couldn't live like that. And so, and I know that a lot of people think, oh, and again, you guys, it's so much higher than we're at 700. They're at like what, 18, 19?
They're 15 to
They've got
2,500.
They've got
yeah.
amazing views, and they pay for it. And a lot of them are on Anchorage, and a lot of them are on coffee farms. And Derry, if that's what you want to do with your life, go ahead. But again, it's just
know those couple of things.
Yeah.
That road is
very road and the weather.
It's very charming the first year.
I think it gets to be a pain in the ass
and
after
it's
that.
like, geez, if I could just go straight home and cook dinner, I would be happy.
Yep. Okay, Eric.
Go ahead.
Okay, flipping houses.
Right? Overrated.
Overrated.
Yep. I think that is not the way to make money on this island any longer. I don't think the deals are there.
There's 100 people for every one that's looking for a home that they can flip over here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it can't be done. I know I've seen people that do it every now and then. There's a famous show in Honolulu right now that's in big trouble now.
Yeah.
They made a show on that, and it turned out they weren't taking we just had an earthquake. No,
shake it. Yeah, but they weren't getting the permits, right?
and we're getting the permit. I mean, when it
Because
takes
you
6
can't go
months to get
fast.
a permit, how do you flip a house and make money when you're carrying it for 6 months to get a permit?
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame or judge the people for not getting their permits. You know, I mean,
They had a show to make.
they had a show to make. They had money to be made. I mean, if you could imagine everything you wanted to do at your job, if it took 6 months for somebody to say yes or no, how could you get your job done?
Right.
So that's an easy answer.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying with you guys. The permits is a pain in the ass. Okay, next.
Okay.
Downtown Kona.
Well,
Okay,
can we?
Okay, what are you thinking?
It's the most quaint, charming town. I'll say that I loved it more than I won't say this because it's behind us kind of a sad situation,
Story,
but it is just as charming and just as everything else, and it is there's nothing like it. You know, there's nothing like it. It's an amazing, beautiful place. I worry the day that they start building it out and making it modern and doing things like that. You know, we still got an airport without jetways and a town with sidewalks that is buildings that are, I don't know, 80, 90 years old with buildings and there's just history there.
There is history there, and the quaintness I like that.
Yeah,
and my thing is too is that underrated. I think because I am fighting for the parking solutions, that people are starting to avoid downtown because of the parking problems. But the whole aspect of just being there next to the pier, like let's say you're at the fish hopper and you're looking out over the ocean, or up at Chiki Tiki and you're looking out over the ocean. It's just so special. Mm-hmm. It's such a peaceful, beautiful space, and with the church there and with Huli Palace, it is historical, and you can walk up and down the whole thing and find so many different little little shops, and the people downtown are pretty full of aloha because they are like, you know why they're down there. They're working with tourists, but they love a good local person who walks in and says hi too.
Yeah,
and just I that's the reason why I'm fighting for downtown.
Yeah.
Is because I don't want it to fall apart, and it is a gem, and I think a lot of us moved here because of downtown Kona.
Yeah.
And we go get our drinks at sunset.
Yeah.
Okay. Buying a coffee farm.
Buying a coffee farm. So what are you thinking about that?
Have you ever picked coffee beans?
That's horrible.
I'll just leave it at that. Okay, I'll leave it at that. You can go from there.
I think people again have a dream.
Yeah,
I have a
vineyard.
dream.
I'm gonna be. I don't drink wine. I don't drink alcohol. I'm gonna be a coffee farmer.
Right.
And I'm gonna have this manicured
coffee farm experience, and they're not thinking about labor costs. They're not talking about
I used
bugs.
to get up. Yeah, I would. So I lived between several of them down when I lived off of Makiki Lane, right? And lived between several of them. I get up. These two distinguished gentlemen that owned farms down there that retired were up before me working on that coffee farm and working on it after I got home at night, so it was just kind of like, man, I don't think that's what people really understand it's going to be.
Yeah.
Sometimes one of them, a couple of times they've decided to, you cut down the trees every 3 years, right? And people will do every third row and every third row and every third row. So each year it's a different third row, right?
Oh.
and so that you're
Didn't know
always
that.
had an income coming in.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These
And you should
guys
know
said-
something about like farming as well.
Yeah. These guys said, "Screw it, cutting it all down this year so I can take a year off."
Oh wow.
And then it grew back beautifully. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But
that's
got
just
a
it.
year
Farming is farming.
off. It is.
And it takes
farming.
energy.
don't-
And another thing to you
takes a
guys
lot.
about if Eric has like underrated, overrated ground, that it is always something is growing 365 on this island.
Yeah.
So when people used to like in the East Coast, they would say, "Well, I'll get my break when the snow comes in." Right?
Yeah.
There is no break here.
No, there's
It
no
is
break.
work.
Cutting your grass.
Yeah. So,
weeding, 365 days a year.
Yep. So it's just a lot of work. And what's interesting is that a lot of people who have the energy for it come here in their 50s, and then you lose the energy for it by the time they're 60-something.
Yeah.
So it's just it's hard.
They built a name, built a crop, built a following for their crop.
Yeah.
And then
and they
it's time
can
to
sell
retire.
the estate coffee. Okay.
Holualoa Estates.
Holualoa Estates. That is located not that far from here. What did you say? Okay. I'm going like this on this one. Oh
Yeah.
Lord. Oh Lord. Okay.
I'm standing on this.
Okay. 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 I'm gonna go overrated because okay, I'm gonna just fight for this real quick. I wanted to live there so bad with our family, so bad, and it was just the prices kept going up and up.
Yeah.
And I found other neighborhoods like, let's say, Lakai Makai, that have sidewalks and they have all of the essentials of a
You can't
neighborhood.
put an S on that sidewalk. I'm okay. Okay. You're only on one side of the street.
Oh. But it's just yeah, we used to live right above it, and it is a special place. But I'd say that for $1.1 million, it's just a really expensive place to live now. Okay, go ahead.
Mine, it is center of town, close to everything for parents that have to do soccer games, football games. You're close to the old airport where you have all those baseball fields and soccer fields and things like that. You're very close to that. Target, Walmart, Kmart. They got the blue park down at the bottom for kids to play in. They've got sidewalks and they have and street lights and there's a lot of vertical streets that you can.
But it's a lot of it's like this too.
horizontal streets.
It sits at an angle too.
Yeah.
Where Lakai Makai doesn't sit at such
It's
an
a lot
angle.
flatter. Yeah, you're right.
But also between the two of the neighborhoods too, which I like about them both, they put on a rockin' Halloween experience.
Yeah.
Because the residents are really excited about having
Yeah.
that neighborhood experience.
Yeah.
So that's always kind of fun too. So and also both of them go out of their way to do Christmas decorations.
Yes.
Right. So,
yeah.
And that, in that sense, if you like those kinds of neighborhoods where it's cookie cutter,
Yeah. Cookie
Right,
cutter is
cookie cutter.
excellent. I mean, that's it.
then that's the thing. But if you were
Well-
looking for something a little bit more like out of the way and maybe like
When we were trying to sell those when the subdivision was brand new, it was a blank slate up there. All you saw was the exact same houses. Da 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 da. Nobody wanted to buy them
oh
because there was no personality.
Yeah.
Now you drive by there and it's just choke personality. There's a lot. So
yeah.
but
But
yeah,
again,
back then-
there are some people who love to live in a subdivision
Yeah.
like that versus
A
a lot.
lot of- yeah.
And there's people who also said, like I have a woman who said, I want you to show me homes and do not show me anything as a cookie cutter
Yeah.
development. There's a butt for every seat in this town,
Yeah.
my friends. So there you go. Okay, Eric.
Okay, so this will be the last one. By
Last
the way.
one.
All right.
Okay, and this one is HOAs, not for condos, but for subdivisions.
HOAs for subdivisions. Okay. Underrated. There we go. There we go.
Okay, go.
It keeps property values up.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, it will stop. Yeah, it'll keep your property values up. It'll stop the craziness from 3 boats being in the front yard.
People
to
working on their cars and
Yeah,
creating
things like
mechanic
that.
shops
So,
in the garage.
So if you're a multifamily, it's probably not a good idea. You want to get out of HOA.
Yeah. If you want some freedom, you have to do what you want in your yard, and if you want to like be able to do whatever the heck you want with your gardening. But some HOA fees in neighborhoods are not like the kind of that you get kind of like in condos where they're going to walk by and say your hedge is 4 inches too high. Sometimes you don't do that, but sometimes they do have design review.
Yeah.
So that people are not doing crazy things like painting their houses Pepto-Bismol pink, or putting in like I don't know. But again, some people don't want anybody to tell them what they can and can't do on their house and their neighborhood. And probably the neighborhoods that have HOAs might not be for you.
And so Kimmy and I wanted a place we did not want HOAs.
Okay.
We had been in that commodity trees
Yep.
with HOAs. people telling me that my garage door strip on the bottom of it was falling to pieces and it looked terrible when you drove down the street, right? So I wanted nothing to do with that. I wanted out of that. It was done, and we ended up in an HOA. Because when we went looking to see what the alternative was to that, that made our mind up that we bought in one.
Yeah, again, a little society is not a bad thing sometimes.
Yeah.
When you have like overbarking dogs,
Yeah.
chicken farms, things that can cause problems for you as from trying to get a quiet place to live, quiet enjoyment, and then if you have people who can do whatever they want around you, then sometimes you end up with not being able to live in the most quiet enjoyment that you deserve.
Exactly.
So
HOAs just help balance that.
yeah, right. And again, also, I have some friends who actually are on the boards of just different HOAs, and they say that across the board, it keeps the values of the properties up because somebody cares.
Yep.
And somebody makes sure that someone cares, and people like to know managed is working.
Yeah.
Right. So there we go. Okay, so
all right, that's
thank
a wrap.
you very much for having
Overrated,
out. Oh yeah,
underrated.
been playing
Thank
the
you.
little
I
game
loved
with
it.
us. Yes.
Appreciate inviting me to this game.
Yeah. Hey, and so
What do you do for a living?
that's what I was gonna say. We sell real estate. Lance from Luba Real Estate and Julie Zingless from Real Broker, and I like to thank our experts in selling houses in West and North Kona.
We are.
And Lance has actually been here for how many years selling real estate?
Been selling. This is my 21st year selling real estate, and I've been here in the Big Island 25 years, and in Hawaii 40.
There you go. So he's a good guy. I've lived here for 20 years. I like to say that I've done very well at getting people to move here who are giving back to the island, and I get people involved in community and volunteerism. We both offer great service. So if you'd like to talk about real estate, contact Lance.
And we reach out to each other too.
Yeah,
if Julie
sometimes
comes
Lance is
into a
acting
question or something that is something I can help her with, we do that just to work with each other and help her. When I got clients that want to be more of the community, I put them in touch with Julie and Eric, and it works because
that's why we've been doing this as a teamwork for years.
So it's a great team.
Yeah,
Great
it
team.
is. Yeah,
we touched several people on your team that you have set up, and that's important.
Yeah. So we offer good things. And also, if you guys are new to our channel because you're hearing about this underrated, overrated thing, please subscribe to our channel. And Lance comes in and does a West Hawaii update with me every month. And we also have an East Hawaii update. And then on the third Thursdays of the month, we actually do an all over Hawaii Island update along with a mortgage update. So you guys tune in for that.
What's the YouTube channel for real estate?
YouTube channel for real estate is 365 Hawaii Real Estate Minute, because Lance actually came up with that name about 10 years ago. Did you remember that?
Oh.
So we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, long time.
So check it out, and if you're on the Facebook page, thanks for joining over there as well, and we'll be coming up with more fun ideas in 2025.
See you guys.
Aloha.
Aloha.